Goosebumps.
Favorite.
Anything else in the kids' horror space? Okay. I know there's some rough stuff out there, like notoriously bone chillers and goose flumps, or goo flumps, whatever it's called, as you may know it. But trust me, when I say this, I love kids' horror. And I don't mean that just because I like Goosebumps. I genuinely love kids' horror. I've been really getting into it over the past 2 years, and my obsession over it has grown to whole bookshelves. I'll just show you real quick.
Flexing is for dickwads, of which I am.
And with my expanding interest into the kids' horror zone, I wanted to incorporate that into my content. You know, dip my feet in it. Yeah. So we're going to be more of a kids' horror central channel in the future, but for now, it's kind of just like one every now and then. Hopefully, we'll start doing a few more in October to spice it up. But I'm not going to try and be a full-blown kids' horror channel, but I will be talking about this hopefully more often in the future. So yeah, starting off with my first kids' horror general video, aside from unboxing it in July, we have forgotten kids' horror films. Now, what I mean by this are films that are generally not talked about enough, I feel like our first pick, because it's decently popular, or rather have little to no actual recognition by the general public. Yeah, some of these are just never talked about or discussed. And there's some great stuff in them too. Not all of them. The last one we're talking about today isn't very good, I'll be honest. But I want a lot of you guys to check these out. And they're probably going to be found on streaming. I know this first one is very easily findable on DVD. I found it upwards of 100 times. Trust me, I see it about every time I go out thrifting at Goodwill. And a lot of these can just generally be found on YouTube even, or on streaming. So they're accessible enough. And yeah, let's just dive in with Monster House. Holy crap, I utterly love this film. It came out in 2006 and has basically become one of my favorite films of all time. If not my most favorite kids horror film, and possibly my favorite film of all time. I'm not quite sure. I'm due a rewatch. You know, I've seen it upwards of 20 times if I had to bet. But no less, it's like, this film has truly shaped me as a person just because of how much it really introduced me to kids' horror alongside Goosebumps. I've been watching this thing since I was like 5 or 6, so it's been with me a while. And I haven't read the novel yet. I'm gonna read it in October, and if it's great, I'll probably make a short about it or something, but we'll see. As for the film, what I really like about this one is its comedy. It has a lot of latent humor and a lot of crude jokes like piss and puberty and a lot of other things. It's not that gross. They're one-off jokes, but they're really fucking funny, especially in delivery. And it has a very casual tone in it. There's 2 particular characters who are there blatantly for comedy, and one of them is played by Kevin James, who is in Grown Ups 1 and 2 and is Paul Blart Mall Cop. Thought I'd bring that up. There's 2 cops in this film who just utterly deliver on the humor. They're fucking hilarious, and that's all they're here to do, is be hilarious and add to the fake kill count. So good. But no less, Monster House. There's a great story in it, and a lot of dark undertones, and a very awesome climax. The characters are super likable. Obviously, my fave is Chowder. He's just so funny to watch. And one of the most easily noticeable things of this film is that this animation style really hasn't been done a lot. It's not stop motion, but it's not exactly animated. I mean, it is. It's basically layered on a green screen. They're real people playing these characters on a set, but it's all green screen. And it's so weird, and I think it's such a unique style that makes it instantly recognizable and super unique. Yeah, and a lot of the performances in this have scarred people like Mr. Nevercracker and Constance, and a lot of the climax stuff. This film's so good, and I cannot recommend it enough. And even has the star Steve Buscemi, who was in the new Wednesday show alongside Christopher Lloyd, who was actually in a few of our picks today. Yes, he's a kids horror legend, so boom. Fucking beautiful. Look at this. 2 legends on screen at the same time from kids horror. He was also in Grown Ups 1 and 2 alongside Kevin James, so that's pretty goofy. For our second pick, we have a movie starring Christopher Lloyd from the Back to the Future trilogy as Doc, And this one has a novelization that came out alongside it in 2001, of course. That's when this came out. And it's a very unpopular film, but it's a Halloween classic if it were to be popular. And that is When Good Ghouls Go Bad. Yeah, this thing had Christopher Lloyd in it, of all people, who's actually in our next pick too, so we'll see in a second. This is I hope this is actually written by R.L. Stine. I'd imagine he wasn't too busy in the early 2000s. Not that he wasn't doing Nightmare Room and stuff. So I hope he wrote it. I hope. If so, that's really cool. No less, it's a very good book. I'll say this, I like the book a lot more than the film, but that's not to say that, the film isn't very good as well. I highly recommend both. And if you don't want to hear me spoil too much, go watch the movie in the description. Yeah, it's on YouTube. There's people who have uploaded it, and while it's not great quality, I mean, it's fair, and it's very much watchable. And very charming, too, even with the little side note that we'll get to later about the main character, or the main lead actor. We'll get to that in a minute, but it's a little sad, but I wanted to bring it up. The actual book is, and film, sorry, is about a kid whose Uncle Fred passes away. It's very early on, but not really. Let's leave it like that. And it's also a very good Halloween story, since a lot of this takes place on Halloween night. There's also this added threat of a potential coming backings of a dead kid named Curtis Danko, which is so weird, but he looks great in the film. Spoiler, yeah, he appears, no shit. We gotta have some actual horror elements aside from possibly zombies. As the title might suggest, ghouls. But no less, this film and book is very heartwarming and has a great theme of grieving and moving on. And it's just such a good watch and read. Whether the book or the movie, it's a great story no less. And I must bring it up, the lead actor of this film, Joe Pitchler, disappeared. He went missing in 2006, I believe it was January of that year, and he has not been seen since. We have no idea what his whereabouts are. We don't even know if he's alive anymore. We can hope. We can pray he's doing well. If he's watching this or anybody has any information on his whereabouts or just how he is, please share it. On a lighthearted note, the main villain is named Curtis Danko, and I think it's a trend of the 90s to have O's at the end of cool names, because we have frickin' Donnie Darko, very good movie by the way, and you also have Mike Gonzo from the Mike Gonzo series. Very bizarre, but no less. This is a great pick for Halloween in general, and just to put on if you're feeling a heartwarming and cozy Halloween movie. This next one I haven't a lot to say. It came out in 2003, and it's called R.L. Stine's Haunted Lighthouse, or just Haunted Lighthouse. Pretty bland name. This one has a book, yet again, and it is actually based off a very short film that is about the length of a Goosebumps episode. It's 20 minutes, including credits and stuff. Which is bizarre. It's super short. But this was actually at fucking SeaWorld. Yup. And there was actually merch with this too. There's a photo album. There's like a sculpture thing of the actual lighthouse. There's some crazy stuff out there that came out for this. Yet, it basically went completely under the radar afterwards. And no one really knows about this story. And I don't really think it's much of anything to bring up in general, and I'm not surprised, just because it's not a, fantastic story, but there's some good merit in here. I think the first half of, or not half, maybe like first third of this is really good. Some great, very dark kids horror scenes, and it has a great tone, and even after that, I think you can have some fun with it. And same goes for the film, though the film's not as good as the book, I'd say. It does star Christopher Lloyd. Yeah, he was in it. He played I think it was Captain Jack. Not to be confused with Captain Jack from Attack the Jack, the awful, god-fucking-forbidden slap-your-world story. But no less, this also starred, for like 10 seconds, Weird Al. At the very end of it, too. I'm not big on it. I think this is a pretty rough one, but I can just appreciate that. Weird Al and Christopher Lloyd in the same room, in the same film. Beautiful. No less, it's very quick. It's here on YouTube again, though the quality is pretty bad, but I'm linking it down below, no less. Go check it out if you want. And yes, it's R.L. Stine. So, that's something. I believe he did write this. Any nostalgia, anybody? Yeah, don't think about it. This is a very strange film in a catalog of kids horror, because it just came out of nowhere. There's no novelization that I know of, And it's tied to The Haunting Hour. Why the fuck? Even after having watched it so many times, I've seen this one like 15 times, I had the bet. I still don't know why it's tied to Haunting Hour. I guess it was maybe to help sell it, because Haunting Hour was like maybe a newer book that Stine produced. I know it exists. It's on my shelf over there, but it's like, huh? And of course, you also have the TV show, which I think was airing around this time, 2007. That's when this came out. But no less, Don't Think About It. What is it about? We have, I believe her name is Lucy, or no, Cassie, and it was an E at the end. That's her right there, our goth bitch. She is rather older for a kids horror protag. She's in high school, mind you, so it's a little weird, but not that big a jump, actually, as you'll find out when we actually get into the nitty-gritty of things, where she finds a book in a store called The Evil Thing. And trust me, you don't want to think about it. There's actually a music video comes with this movie. I will link that below if I can find it, as well as the film if I can, if it is on YouTube. Which I'm willing to bet it might be, but we'll see. If not, it should be findable, and I believe there's pretty cheap listings on eBay for a DVD, let alone you can probably find it on some obscure site for free. But no less, Don't Think About It. It's a very weird film, but oh my god, I gotta give it some fucking praise. Let me tell you, the monster design in this movie, because there's an actual monster who's a literal fucking monster, is so good. That's where the budget went, mind you. I'm pretty sure of that. The budget went wholly to this monster at the end of the film, and it's so good. It's such a fun Halloween film, because I believe this does take place mostly on Halloween. Once again, so I gotta watch it this year. And when the actual nitty-gritty of the plot starts kicking in, it's such a blast, and it really has a theming of sibling relationship and a bit of romance tied in there, which I believe is going on between these two. So, yeah, it's a fun film. Very fun film. With a lot of tension, and again, great creature design. You gotta watch for that. That stuff was nightmare fuel. This puppy came out in 2007, and it actually starred a woman who is our main character, Emily Olmsens. She was in the fucking Beverly Hills Chihuahua 2 and 3 and Spy Kids 2 and 3. So random, but okay.
My intense swearing.
Forgot to give her a goog, and it turns out she's a pop star, so yeah, or at least she has 300,000 followers on Spotify, so that's saying something. And yeah, we're done here. Or are we? I actually wanted to throw in one more pick for this video, because I gotta be a little negative, do I? I gotta be a little negative Nancy here and then. We have a very unpopular kids horror film that was made by Disney. Trust me, Disney's got quite a catalog. There's some decently unknown kids horror films like Scream Team. And I believe My Mom's Dating a Vampire, or something like that. Popping posters on screen, hopefully. And this is just one of the many. Oh my god. Who has actually fucking seen Can of Worms? I have. I'm betting you haven't. Can of Worms is a movie that exists, and it's more of a sci-fi comedy thing, but it's loosely kids horror. And I don't believe there's a novelization. If there is, I'm hunting it now. But no less. Comment below if you've seen this movie. As for the plot, it's been a hot minute. I saw this about a year and a half ago, I believe. February, March time of 2024. And it's a weird one, just going off memory. There's a lot of puppets and a lot of interesting plot beats. And I will say this, the most praise I can give it is the budget behind the set design and, of course, the puppets and the actual creature effects. Fuck me, though, this is not a scary movie in any means. Yeah, Can of Worms, it exists. It's not a very good movie, in my opinion, though it might grow on me with a rewatch, which I do plan to rewatch it at some point. But no less, Can of Worms just exists. And yeah, that is my list today. I might do a sequel video in the future if I find out of any more kids horror films. And trust me, I already know a few, like I mentioned Stream Team, My Mom is Dating a Vampire, amongst many others out there that I could easily just bring up for this video, whether I like them or not, of course. I don't think a lot of the kids horror films, especially the lower budget ones, are very good, but there's some that are good out there, again, like Scream Team. But no less, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Tell me your favorite films or films you might have interest in watching now or have watched or anything relating to these topics down below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.